In an ordinary American town, a man suddenly came across a delicate Chinese octagonal box, and found an exquisite Chinese octagonal box. He wanted to sell it for money, but when he saw the Chinese writing on it, suddenly thought of his daughter Xiaolai. She's learning Chinese, isn't she? He took it back and gave it to him, but the foreigner didn't know it was written in seal script. Xiaolai could only barely make it out.
Wish is 7.
But the lock on this box is strange. He couldn't open it. Now Xiaolai lost interest. He threw it away and went to the internet. Then he saw the girl who always bullied him. She posted a picture of her dad picking up rubbish on the internet, shaming him for being a rubbish girl. Xiaolai was angry and angry. Suddenly he remembered the box, so he made his first wish as a joke. He wished that the girl would rot. Xiaolai didn't take it seriously. He didn't know that in the dead of night, the box suddenly opened. The delicate mechanism began to turn. A strange music started to play. When the song was over, it closed again. The next day, the girl woke up. She found her leg was rotten. He couldn't believe it, and when she looked up, she was shocked. The story of the girl's rotting face soon spread around the school. Lai was shocked. Was the wishing box really responsible? He rushed home and photographed the words on the box. He was going to ask someone tomorrow. That's when he suddenly realized that his dog was missing. Xiaolai rushed out to look for it. Finally, he found the dog's body deep in the garden. The family buried the dog. Xiaolai was so sad. He didn't know this was the price of wishing. For every wish he fulfilled, he had to pay with his life. Unfortunately, Xiaolai won't know for a while, because his Chinese teacher can't read calligraphy either. He had to go home first, but the desire to make a wish is still surging. Lai was so happy. The wishing box did work, but when he got home, he learned from the news. His rich uncle slipped in the bathtub, and fell to his death in the bathtub. At first, Lai wasn't too concerned. His uncle was rich and didn't care much about them. Soon he realized that he had no children. How will his estate be divided? Xiaolai went upstairs and picked up the box to make a wish. He wished that his uncle would leave them all his inheritance. Soon the wish came true again. Dad received a phone call. Uncle had really given them all his fortune. Xiaolai was overjoyed. He and his father moved all their belongings. They moved from a small house to a luxurious mansion. With this magic wishing box, he moved from a shabby house to a luxurious mansion, drove the latest sports car, and took his girlfriends to the spa, buying the most expensive luxury goods. When she comes home, she's carrying a full load. Xiaolai is so happy that this is the life he should live. But at night, suddenly he found that the magic box opened by itself. Curious, he went over to see what was going on. He didn't know it was the fulfillment of his wish. Another person around him will be killed by him. This time, it was Xiaolai's neighbor's aunt. He was cooking, but when he turned on the sink grinder, there was a strange noise coming from inside. He poked his head in to take a closer look, but he didn't realize that his hair had accidentally fallen in. And he flicked the switch again. The suction got stronger and stronger and his scalp cracked. Finally, Andy can't hold on much longer. On Xiaolai's side, the magic box also closed itself after playing the song. Lai was a bit curious. He went online to look up the words on the box, but the translation site couldn't translate it. Xiaolai suddenly remembered a boy once said his cousin is an expert in ancient languages. He asked the boy to go with him to find his cousin. After his cousin's translation, Xiaolai understood the words on the box. Take me to make a wish. If you lose me or sell me, the wish will be invalidated. At that moment, at the bottom of the box, she saw the name Lu Mei. They googled it and found out it's a spooky legend. In 1910, the bubonic plague struck. Lumley was the only one in his family who survived. Rumor has it that he took the family heirloom, the music box. He went to the temple to pray for revenge. He prayed for 7 days and 7 nights. Until the 7th night, a demon answered him. After that, Lumley became a winner. Everyone who fought against him died. Soon after that, he killed himself. That's where the legend ends. After reading it, the guys were even more confused. At that moment, the boys found a small line on the side of the box, but his cousin didn't understand it either. She said she'd ask her friend. Xiaolai had to go home first. On the way home, he kept thinking about it. He felt uneasy. But then, Xiaolai suddenly saw his father picking up rubbish on the side of the road again. He felt so ashamed. How can he pick up rubbish when he's living in a mansion? Shame made him leave everything behind. Back home, Xiaolai held the wish box again and made his fourth wish. He wished that his father wouldn't be so ashamed. His wish soon came true. That night, Dad suddenly picked up his former talent. He played the saxophone in the living room. He charmed his friends. Xiao Lai became more and more satisfied with his father, and his eyes got greedier and greedier. He completely forgot about the danger of the box. He began to use wishing to satisfy his vanity, to fall in love with the boy god. He became the most popular girl in school. Xiao Lai was so happy, but then the boy suddenly approached him. He told him that today, when he went to look for his cousin, he found her dead. The answer to that little line was left on his mobile phone. When the song stops, blood debts must be paid. This sentence made Xiao Lai a bit panicky. What does it mean? Will someone die? Xiao Lai felt uneasy. He decided to talk to his neighbor's aunt, but when he entered the door, he smelled a disgusting odor. Soon after, he saw the tragic death of his aunt. Xiao Lai finally understood the horror of the box. He rushed to his friends to ask them to help him, but of course, his friends didn't believe him. They kicked the box. They told Xiao Lai not to think too much. They told him not to take it seriously. Just throw it away. Xiao Lai agreed. But when he got to the rubbish bin, he turned to look at his present mansion. If he threw away the box, all this would be gone. He was a bit reluctant to throw it away. In the end, Xiao Lai didn't throw it away. He went to an event with his friends, but that night, something happened to his friend. The lift suddenly shook. It stopped in midair and startled him. He rushed to call Xiao Lai. He wanted him to find someone to save him, but the lift opened the door just as the call was answered. Is it ready? He went outside. Xiao Lai rushed out, but when the lift opened, his friend was already dead. Xiao Lai was scared out of his wits. He knew it was the curse of the wishing box. The wish he made killed his friend. Then the boy found Xiao Lai. He told him the origin of the wishing box. His previous owners, after the death of all their friends and relatives, they chose to commit suicide. The boy advised Xiao Lai to stop before it's too late. You can't afford it. Xiao Lai was scared too. He begged the boy to destroy the box for him, but no matter how much he burned it, no matter how much they hit it with hammers, it didn't work. They had to give up for now. They locked it up, but the next day, the box was stolen. Lai was so relieved. He thought he'd finally let him go. But then someone came in, and it was the police. They found out that there's something wrong with Lai's huge inheritance. They wanted to send them back, but Lai knew it was the box that was missing. His wish has been withdrawn. Lai had to move back to his old house. He became the ugly duckling who was ignored, and he was splashed with drinks by his female classmates. At that moment, shame and remorse flooded his mind. He regretted that he had to get the box back. At that moment, Xiao Lai saw the box. His friend had stolen it. He knew Lai couldn't help himself and wanted to save him, but Lai had gone mad and grabbed the box and ran away. His friend ran after him. Lai threw it away. Xiao Lai ran away. Back home, Xiao Lai picked up the box and made his sixth wish. He wished that his mum hadn't died. At that moment, his door opened. It was really his mum. Xiao Lai was so happy. Now his life was finally complete. But then the magic box in his room played music again. It's over. He had forgotten his retribution. Xiao Lai rushed downstairs and shouted for his father. At that moment, he was watching the workers repairing the tree. When he heard Lai's shouts, he turned around. Xiao Lai was completely devastated. He fled to his room. He angrily made his last wish. Back to the morning when he found the magic box, Xiao Lai woke up again. It was that morning that the dog was still alive. Dad was also alive. Xiao Lai was so happy. He said he wanted to pick up rubbish with his dad. Sure enough, he found a wishing box in the rubbish. He hid it in his bag. When he got to school, he found a boy. He asked him to help him bury it. He asked him not to look at it. The moment he handed over the box, Xiao Lai was relieved. He was finally free of his obsession. But was it really that simple? At that moment, the music of the magic box started playing again. His wish had come true, but now there's no one around him. There's no one else around him who can bear the price for him. So the curse of the wishing box is over. Not yet. The boys are going to bury the bag by the river. He was going to bury the bag by the river, but at the last moment, he couldn't help but take a look. Then the boy's eyes changed. The unrelenting desire began to take hold again.